All right, guys. So here's some common mistakes people make when they're immersing themselves in a foreign language. One of that is to actually, especially in the beginning stages, is you sometimes look up words too frequently. So, because the point of immersion is to allow your subconscious brain to figure it out all by itself. Is to figure out all the grammar and all of the vocabulary, all of it just by itself. Like your brain's just gonna figure it out for you. Okay, and you're just gonna have to trust that. And sometimes when you look up words too frequently in your immersion, that could actually break that free flow type of immersion where you're just kind of laid back and chill, right? Now, I think you need to have a good balance of this. Sometimes, so this is why, what I would do is if you're listening to a TV show, that's when I would do the free flow, where you don't try to look up anything and you just enjoy the show for what it is with what you already know. That's free flow immersion. And then there's for the reading, if you're reading a book, for example, you can use that as an opportunity to heavily look up any words that you don't know. But even then, even for reading, especially if you're in the beginning stages, you don't want to be looking up every single word, right? Because if you look up every word you don't know, then you're literally just going to be looking up a word every freaking 10 seconds, which is not what you want. You want to keep it flowing, right? And just kind of the way I did it when I was learning Japanese was if there was a word that I didn't know and I sensed that it was far out of my reach, then I would ignore it. I'll literally just ignore it and go to the next sentence, go to the next page, And if there was a phrase that was within my reach, I felt like I could understand this, then that's when I would look up the word. But if there was a sentence or a phrase that was out of my league, I wouldn't look it up. That's the type of mindset I had, right? Now, when you're advanced, like with me right now, because I'm advanced, I meticulously look up every single word. I don't have that privilege of free flow anymore. Because it's if I want to continue improving in my language, in Japanese and French, I'm going to have to literally look up every single word that I don't know. Because here's the thing. When I read something now, even when I read these books, there's hardly any words that I don't know. So when a new word does pop up that I don't know, or a new phrase, right, I have to look it up. Because it's there's rarely any words I don't know anyway. So why am I going to miss this opportunity to learn a new word? So when you're advanced and an expert, that's when you don't have the luxury, I guess, to say okay, let me just free flow this, right? Because if you want to keep improving in the language, that's when you're going to have to put active effort in looking everything up. Because that's what I do. When I watch a French podcast, because I understand literally 96% of what's going on and what they're saying, when there's that extra those couple few words that might appear once every 10 or 30 minutes, there'll be words I'll be able to understand something very effortlessly for the period of 10 minutes or maybe 20 minutes, and then suddenly there'll be a word I wouldn't know. So basically my rate at looking up words is literally once every 30 minutes, once every 20 minutes. And that is not a lot, So that's why for me, if I look up every word up, it's actually going to mean something, because then I'm actually forced to learn what I'm doing. Whereas if I was just being free flow, there might have been I might not have picked up that word. You know what I mean? But in the context of a beginner, you don't need to take this approach. In the beginning, where you don't know anything, and there's a lot of the language you don't have figured out yet, you don't want to be looking every single word up, okay? That's because it's not going to provide any additional benefit for you to keep constantly looking up words they don't know, and especially if it's very frequent. So that's what I do. I'll have I'll have a reading. I'll set reading immersion as intensive, and then I would have watching TV shows and listening as kind of more free flow. You're still paying attention, by the way. You're not just zonked out. You're paying attention, but you're free flowing, and you're kind of just getting immersed in the story, right? And you're worrying less about every single little detail of the words, right? Whereas me, I have to turn on that brain to just catch on everything I don't know. And then even with your native language, if you want to improve your English ability, it's probably wise of you to look up every single word that you don't know. As an English native speaker, it's probably wise of you to do that. Because then you can actually, maybe even though you might be able to acquire some of the words passively, through osmosis, if you want to like accelerate your vocabulary, it's better to just look up every single word you don't know, especially when you're reading. You know, if there's like if someone says a word you don't know, it's better for you to look it up, right? Because that's going to improve your English faster than just like not paying attention at all or not even bothering looking the word up, right? But that's because you're advanced. You're an advanced learner, so you should actually probably go out of your way to like learn and look up the words, right? Even if it's very infrequent. Even if there's like a new word once every 30 minutes, you should probably look that word up, right? Because this is going to help with vocabulary building. But that's because you're advanced. So that's why, like, when you're advanced, I would say you should meticulously look up everything you don't know. Like, that's where I'm at now. Like, when I watch an anime, like, I try to look up every single word I don't know. Like, because it's I'm at a point now where I understand everything anyway. There's only that few little, like, cracks that, like, maybe words they say that I may not know. And that's when I poke at that. But in the beginning, you don't want to do this. You don't want to be doing this. You want to just have most of the immersion flow. And another mistake people make is actually not consuming native content. Like, you don't want to be consuming any watered down content for language learners, right? This is why I highly advise against, like immersing in like apps or courses that try to make like they're trying to make like input, but it's like it's not for natives, because it's not natural way of. It needs to be for natives, guys. Even if it's like for kids. Like if you're gonna watch something for kids, at least it's a native. At least it's for like native kids. You know what I mean? Whereas like if it's like for language learners, like it's like a very watered down version of the language, and that's not what you want. Even though it's easier, it's better to consume the native content, right? Because even watching like a YouTube vlog, like a French YouTube vlog, even though that's native, that's content for native speakers, because it's a vlog, you can understand what's going on. Even if you don't understand like what they're saying and everything they're saying, like you can still understand like the large majority of what's kind of going on in a vlog. Like even when I was like immersing in French and I understood nothing, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos and vlogs of people, and I was able to get the gist of what was going on, even if I didn't understand everything that they were saying. I was just enjoying the video as it is, as they were like skateboarding or they were going like to the Eiffel Tower or like climbing the Eiffel Tower, doing some like stuff in the rooftop, like like even though I didn't understand anything they were saying, like I was still enjoying the process, because at least there was something for me to engage in, because I understood like what was going on, because it was a vlog. That's why I think vlogs are like really good for immersion, because you don't need to understand any of the language. Like I could probably watch like some Arabic vlog and completely in Arabic, and I might be able to enjoy it even if I didn't understand anything, just because like they might be doing like stupid stuff, right? So you never want to consume content that's like watered down, and you want to make sure the content is for native speakers, okay? And you don't need to be reading like super hard books for native speakers, because that's out of your league. Like I said, you can focus on vlogs, you can focus on TV shows that are very easy to understand, like very easy to understand plot, and that is enough to learn a lot of the language, right? So yeah, guys, avoid these mistakes and you get really good.